How would I approach day trading if I was to completely restart? Day trading is commonly known, usually by traders, as the hardest career path, as you have to change the entire way you perceive money. I feel as though I am finally in a profitable trader's headspace, found myself studying a provably winning strategy, but what if it was all taken away from me? What if the men in black pulled up and erased my memory? Where would I start? Who would I listen to? Before I dive deeper, I think it's only right to say that all of our journeys will be different. Some faster, some slower, but the advice I'm about to go over is what would have benefited people like me most of all. Let me start from the very top so we can work backwards and see key points and whereabouts I learned them. If you've watched any of my recent live trading videos, you would be well aware that I trade liquidity, supply and demand. More specifically, using RD concepts. Link to his Discord down below, but more on that later. This strategy is a true display of discipline, as it is most efficiently executed on the 30-minute time frame, of which sometimes does not get a trade for weeks straight. But remember, in this scenario, I am going back to nothing, not even any concept of supply and demand zones. So where did I start? I feel as though every trader needs to try at least a couple of strategies to simply understand how shit some of them are. One of the main things I learned early on is that no matter how much your vision may be swayed, switching from strategy to strategy is not the way to profitability. New traders, write that one down. I started where I assume most of us would have started, trading breakouts with people like Mamba FX. Now, do I think this was a bad place to start? No, not at all. In fact, this is probably the only place that I could find out that his strategy is not as profitable as he makes it out to be. I'm worried that if I started this journey looking at supply and demand, I would look back at breakouts as an easy way out almost, if supply and demand wasn't profitable straight away. But after trying it, after dabbling, I now know that, at least in Forex, breakouts is kind of BS. After finding this out the hard way, I'd say if you were to take one thing from this video, it is right there. There is still so much more source to come though. So if you learn anything from what I've said or what I'm about to say, be sure to like and subscribe. Where my trading career really took off is when I found out about Doyle's supply and demand strategy. Thanks to the GOAT that you may all know, Mango, put me on it a few months from the start of my journey. This is where I learned a majority of the supply and demand technicals used for later use in RD strategy when it comes to market structure and identifying zones themselves. If you're looking to learn the liquidity, supply and demand that I keep mentioning, join up RD's Discord down below, where you get constant signals of every trade a profitable trader takes, as well as access to all previous and to come webinars, asking him questions himself, and so much more. I really couldn't recommend anything enough. Anyways, back to the next point. Now, this isn't to say that my view still wasn't swayed. When you're starting out and everybody online is promising you this easy route, you can sometimes get carried away. But as corny as it may seem, I always found my heart and my brain coming back to supply and demand. This is probably because the fundamental alignments just kind of made sense to me. Price comes back to a point that has previously seen a lot of volume, like banks buying or selling. So when it comes back to that point, the same thing happens. Volume comes back into the market in the same direction. Capiche? But there was one recurring problem that was still frequent after months and months of trading this strategy religiously. Now, I think this problem entirely comes down to what kind of trader you are. Are you in it for that fast money? Scalping on the 5-minute for 1-to-1s or 1-to-2s? If this is you, I think you need really good initiative, as to be anywhere close to profitability on 1-to-1s alone, you need to almost know when the market is about to go against you. Now, the other type of trader in question, which I find myself lying into, is looking for the more investor route, doing all of the analysis beforehand, so after you execute the order, you just wait and chill for the minimum of 1-to-3s all the way up to 1-to-10s. Quick reminder, these setups will not come anywhere near as frequently as the 5-minute due to the quality of these setups being a lot higher, as well as the overall time frame. Now, before I get carried away with how good this strategy is to me, I feel the need to explain the wheres and the whys of how I got some of the skills that are needed to become consistent in this industry. First, and most commonly talked about, the discipline. Unfortunately for everybody watching, I'm sorry to say that there is no one thing that brings discipline. It is months on months, maybe even years, of constant negative experiences that are caused by the lack of discipline. Until one point, it may just finally click. Maybe it's a specific quote, or an image on social media that just inspires you. I know for me, it was simply realizing how much hard work the wealthier people in society had to put in, at least the ones that didn't come from riches. All it takes is a little less than a month of hard work for it to become habitual. But just know, breaking out of that unprofitable mindset is going to be a lot harder than you think. For that is the mindset that you have had since you were young, before you were even a trader. You were unprofitable from birth. This next point is almost directly correlated to discipline, but it's all about holding your trades. This is also going to kind of serve as a segue to liquidity, supply and demand, as on the 5 minute, such as Doyle strategy, there's a lot less diligence when it comes to hitting full TPs, as it's so fast paced, literally anything can happen. Well, I guess that is trading. Now with RD's strategy, hitting the full TPs is at the very roots of what makes it just that much more profitable. Each strategy I've tried, every mistake I've learned from, every little promise I've broken to myself has turned me into the trader I am. And dare I say, I feel pretty experienced in this industry. As I previously mentioned, I really do not think I would be half of the trader that I am today if I didn't learn from these lessons the hard way. So my one piece of advice for you, apart from joining RD's Discord down below, would just be chill out on trying to find this perfect strategy right away and just go and make a start somewhere. But remember to keep on adapting and growing, and whatever you do not take any steps backwards. Thank you so much for watching. Join my Discord and follow my Instagram. Everything's down below.